Hello everybody and welcome back to our channel, and if you're new here, I'm Jane. My husband Mike is behind the camera. We're British, early retirees, debt and mortgage free, living a thrifty and frugal life here in France, and every Sunday we share some money saving aspect of our life and what we've done this week. So let's take a look at that. Now, if you don't know, we live in northwest France in Brittany, and we're not used to heat. We've got a lovely temperate climate here. It doesn't get too cold and it doesn't get too hot, but it has got hotter and hotter in recent years, and our summers are getting hotter. And every now and then that heat really peaks, and I'm going to share that heat with you and how we're coping with it, how we're trying to keep our garden alive, how we're trying to keep ourselves cool. Because we live in the northwest of France and because we're just Europeans basically, we don't have air conditioning. It's just not something that we have. People in apartments in the south of France may have it, but people right across France and Spain, Italy, even the heights of Portugal, we don't have it. We find ways of dealing with the heat just as we do. And like I said, because we're here in northwest France, it's just not something we need most of the time. But the temperature's been in the 40s some days. And as I'm standing here now talking to you on Saturday, reflecting back on the week that's happened, next week it's going to go back up into the 40s again, which is extraordinary for here, absolutely extraordinary. So, let's share with you the heat of a French summer. Here's a very typically used method of keeping the house cool here in France. I had these shutters down pretty much, well, I keep them down all night anyway, but we keep them, as you can see, slightly open. So a bit of air can come in, but the heat can't, and obviously our windows open inwards, so we can do that. So there we go, the shutters are down and it helps us keep the place cool. Well, it's warm out here. I don't mind it up to about 35, 37. But once it gets over 40, it's actually too hot to walk around or do anything in the garden. And when I bring the dogs out for a walk around and just go for a wee, I carry them until I get to a cool, shady part of the garden, because I think it's too hot for them to put their paws on the floor. So that's how hot it is outside today. It's 41. A bit warm, isn't it? I can feel it beating on my back. I'm going in where it's cooler. So you can see what we do here to stay cool. As you remember, I made some net curtains, we would call them, some curtains to go in that's my kitchen, that keeps the sunlight out. The paint on the roof, the waterproofing paint, is pale grey, so it's reflective, and as you can see, all the curtains have white backings to them, and the curtains in our living room, and there's a curtain behind the door there as well, they look silver. They have like a reflective backing to them, so it keeps the heat out. So there we go, keeping the heat out of the house today. So I'm inside now and it instantly feels cooler, but if I step down into the original centre of the house, it's lovely, and you can see, like from the outside, we keep all the curtains closed. They have, I'm going to show you this curtain here, they have a reflective backing, reflects the heat out. It's good thermal curtains in here. We have the tiled floors, which are lovely and cool, and then the temperature indoors is 22 degrees. There's no aircon, and we can keep it really lovely and cool. And this is a really good thing for helping, because the difference between the temperature outside and inside kind of creates a dampness in the house. So we are running the aircon today. Let's go and see how much liquid it's taking out of the air. Yeah, it's working away. There we go. Little dehumidifier working. And it does feel so cool. And I'm going to sit and watch the Tour de France and do some quilting in here. Because at the moment, in the middle of the day, it's just too hot to go outside. Well, it's 10:30 at night now, and it is now, here under the trees, a nice cool 21 degrees, and the temperature's dropped back down again to 24 degrees in the house. I was asked today, I know you're frugal, but why don't you spend some money on some aircon? This is unusual. We really don't have this weather very often. It really, really is unusual, I promise you. It's bearable, we're managing it. It's a couple of weeks a year. It really normally isn't this hot. So that's why we don't have aircon. And I'm sat here in the garden. It's lovely and cool, and I'm enjoying every minute of it. So it's 8 o'clock on Wednesday morning, so it's morning after the night before, when it was extraordinarily hot yesterday. And what we're doing to cope with this heat is we're not able to get to bed until midnight, because it doesn't cool down until midnight. And so we slept through, as you can hear, I'm quite sleepy at the moment, until 8 o'clock this morning. So I got up a bit later, but it's still cool, and I want to show people about how we use the insulation of the house itself to stay cool. So as you can see here, the thermometer this morning, it's 17 degrees. So it's pretty much the temperature of outside. And if I were to show you, every wall is insulated, every ceiling is insulated, every single wall, every single ceiling of our entire house is insulated. So it stays warm in the winter and cool in the summer. That's a dehumidifier. The humidity levels are really high, so I will need to run that today, because the house doesn't smell very nice when it's humid. I don't know about you, but I don't like that smell. So it's cooling down. I've got it cool. I've got all the windows and doors open of the whole house to keep it cool. And then what I'll do in about half an hour, when I've made it cold, is I'll shut the doors, I'll shut the curtains, and keep the cold in. As you can see, all the water for our garden we get out of the stream, and it's really low at the moment. Where you saw me chucking a bucket in, it's because as it turns the corner, it makes itself a little deep bit there, and it's easy to get out. Trying to get cans out where it's really shallow and stony is really difficult. And if I get Mike to pan over to there, and down there is where the river is, and back to me, And then over to the trees, please, right. And these young trees I planted earlier this year, and they're already tinged from the heat. And I'm trying to save them by giving them 2 cans each of water a night. So I've got these 3 young trees and another tree, and I'm going to be watering them. So with cans from the river. I hope that you found that interesting. I don't know if I mentioned it in there, because sometimes I make these videos, the out part of the video, a few days after I've made the actual section of the videos. But here in Europe, in the UK, all across France, Spanish homes, Portuguese homes and Italian homes, they've got really thick walls. The houses were built to endure the weather. So they're built to endure the cold winters and the hot summers. And as you can see, our house stays much cooler because we put money and effort into insulating our homes. So we don't need to spend money on cooling them or heating them so much. As we thrifty Europeans, we make our money go a long, long way. If you found the video interesting or you enjoyed it, go on, hit that like button. Just leaves me to say thanks so much for watching, and on behalf of Mike and I, we'll see you again soon. Goodbye for now.